Right. So we are discussing procedures, and continuation to that, let us create one more simple procedure which has to insert the data into what one of the table. So far, what are the processes we have created is we have created it for retrieving the data. We have used what select statement inside the procedures, and we have retrieved the data. Now I want to create a procedure which has to insert the record into the table. Okay, so let's see what is the change we need to do. Based on that, I'll discuss what exception handling. Right. So I'll go to the HANA Studio. Let me create the procedure. So since I don't want to consume this procedure in the ABAP report, directly I can create the procedure in what SQL console, or we can follow the what preferred way, that is under the package we can create. Okay, so what I'll do is in the HANA development environment, in the repositories tab, let us navigate to our package. Before that, if you go to this gens of SQL schema, in this let me consider one simple table. Okay, so if you go to the table section, yeah, we have a table emp underscore trigger. Okay, what is the definition of this table? It has got two fields, emp id and what ename. emp id and ename. emp id is what integer, and ename is what varchar, and it is a key field. Okay, done. Do we have any data in this particular table? If you open the content, yes, we have some four records in this particular table. So I need to create a procedure, okay, which has to insert the data into this particular table. So as usual, I'll go to the repositories tab. Already we have created one package. What is that package name? Something Z Zensoft package. Inside this package, we have one procedure get employee department. Let us create one more procedure. So in the repositories tab, I'll right click on the package and I'll say new, other, choose stored procedure, say next, done. It is asking the file name, that is name of the procedure. I'll give the name of the procedure as something insert employee is the name of the procedure. I'll go for this dot procedure. Target schema, in which schema you want to store. I can store it anywhere. Okay, I'm storing in what sys underscore big schema. Okay, if you want to consume it in ABAP report, yes, you have to store it in what sys underscore big. Otherwise you can directly what store it in any of the schema. So I'm what is the procedure name? Insert employee. Finish. Yeah, the procedure got created. Now here create procedure so and so. So what is the requirement? We have to insert the data into this particular table which has got two fields, emp id and what ename. emp id is integer, ename is what varchar. So keeping this table definition in mind, I want to insert the data into the table. So how do we insert into table name? Okay, insert into table name, then you have to say what values, right? And you have to give the values for your columns. So in my procedure,
You
I'll
know
say
that varchar will be taken again, or varchar and varchar we have to take there.
no, no problem, because if you are consuming it from ABAP level, yes, I need to go it as n varchar. But since I don't want to consume in ABAP level, just I want to execute here, so doesn't matter. Okay, if you want to consume it in from ABAP level, since we have to create the database procedure proxy, since this varchar is not compatible, I need to take it as n varchar. But I don't want to consume it from ABAP report. Just we have to focus on what exception handling. That's the reason I'm not disturbing the definition. So since my table has got two columns, I'll pass two parameters. Okay, I'll pass two parameters. Let me give the parameter name as first I'll give what input parameter. I'll give the name of the parameter as something input underscore empid. Okay, input underscore empid. I'll give it as
Sridhar,
integer. Hello?
Sridhar, can I ask a question?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Sridhar. So is there any way that we can, update, you know, can we update the table directly from, ABAP perspective to the HANA database?
No, no. Compulsory to come to the database level and we have to do it. Acha,
Oh,
okay.
it's the control
No,
has
no,
to,
no, no.
yeah.
Once what you are saying, already the table is there in the HANA database. You want to what add one additional column or you want to modify data type, right?
So like, we extract the data to ABAP perspective, right? ABAP,
Okay.
level.
Hmm.
And there, we do some modifications and we try to, update the record at the HANA database level. Like it's like a back.
Okay.
It should be it should be like in-out parameter will work, or like how, if I want to, update back to the HANA database.
You want to modify the data you are saying?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yes, Sridhar.
You want to modify the data. Okay. So what you are
Yeah.
saying is first you will retrieve the data and you'll do some
Mm-hmm.
changes in my ABAP report level. Then you want to update it back to what? Your
HANA data,
HANA
HANA database.
database. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Now why? Okay. So what you can do is in the procedure only. In the procedure only, first we need to retrieve the data. Means at the beginning of the procedure, we'll write some select query. You'll put it in some
Okay.
internal table. Okay, and we'll loop it. Acha, you want to do the modification in the ABAP level, huh? ABAP level
No, no,
or
no. We write the select statement and we take that data, to the ABAP level, where we do, some kind of additional validations and all that. And if there is any data to be modified, it should be again modified at the database level, right? Again, is it to be modified at the ABAP level table or like HANA database table?
yeah, there are two things here. I can do it in two ways. One is, see, scenario one is I can create the procedure. Okay, in the procedure, what I have to do, first I'll write the select query. I'll get the data into what some internal table in the procedure only. I'm talking about the procedure body. Where do we develop this procedure in the HANA database? Okay, so once you get the data into this iTab, in the procedure body itself, okay, we have seen some looping statements, loop and loop and while so and so. Okay, so I will loop this internal table. Here only I'll do the necessary what changes, okay, in the loop or whatever it is. Then at the end of the procedure I'll use what update. Okay, so in the procedure only I'm retrieving the data and putting into some local internal table which I'll declare inside the procedure. Then I'll process that internal table to do some calculations or to do some changes. And this updated data I need to update it back to the table level. So at the end of the procedure I'll be using the update statement. This is one way I can do. Okay, another way you can do is, hope it's clear, Praveen. Okay, yeah, another
Yeah,
way
yeah,
is, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
another way is you'll develop the procedure. This procedure might be responsible only for retrieving the data. Okay, so you are consuming it from what ABAP level. Okay, so when you retrieve the data, that data will be stored in the local internal table. Okay, in this procedure I'll take one out parameter which has to return me the data. So I'll store that what retrieve data into local internal table declared at what level? ABAP report level. Okay, so now in the ABAP program I will use our traditional what loop statement. Okay, I'll do the
Mhm.
necessary changes inside this loop. Okay, inside this loop. And then what you can do is at the final stage, agenda is what we need to update it back to what database table. So I can call another procedure which might do the task, or I'll develop some by using this adbc. We have seen some methods like what yeah, execute underscore query. Whenever you are executing the select statement from the ABAP report level by using adbc, we are using what execute underscore query. Now I want to update. So what I'll do, I'll use a method called as execute underscore update. Okay, execute
Correct.
underscore
Yeah.
update, and I'll use the update statement. So I can do like this.
I think this is the, I think, probably the suitable one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah.
it depends how you want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyhow, this kind of scenarios will
Because
see. Yeah.
why I ask this question is either, like, this update statement may not be to the same HANA, it may be to Oracle database.
Yeah,
Sometimes we
yeah.
extract from
Correct,
Oracle.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. That's what.
Yeah.
So while establishing the connection here, we'll give the connection object referring to that particular database, either Oracle or
Correct.
HANA, whatever it is.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Got it.
Done. So now what is the requirement here? We want to insert the data into the table which has got two fields, EMPID and ENAME. Okay. So this template is auto generated. Already we have seen that. Okay. It is auto generated. So create procedure IP underscore EMPID. Then I'll take one more input parameter. I'll take IP underscore IP indicates what input parameter, just only for our understanding. Then I'll say ename. I'll say something var care of something, what var care of something, I'll say 30. Then what I want is this procedure has to return me the message whether it is inserted or not. Okay, so I'll take one output parameter. Okay, output parameter, I'll say op underscore msg. Okay, I'll give it as what, var care of something 200. That's it. Okay, so this is the signature of my procedure. What is that? Create procedure so and so. Okay, two input parameters we have and one output parameter we have. Okay, done. And you can see here, okay, default schema. I want to use the tables of which schema? Gensoft SQL. So also what? Gensoft SQL is the schema. And you can see here we have the addition what? Reads SQL data. So this addition indicates that we are telling SAP that we are going to only read the data in the procedure. We are not going to perform any data manipulation changes. Like we are not going to use any insert, delete, or update. But what is my agenda now? I want to insert. I'll keep this as it is. Let me check what happens if I use insert. So here I'll say insert into, what is the table name here? EMP underscore trigger. Insert into EMP underscore trigger values. Values. Okay. What is the signature of this? What is the definition of this? EMPID and ename. So two fields it is expecting. So that's the reason. Here I'll say colon. What is the first input parameter? IP underscore EMPID, comma, colon. What is that? IP underscore what? Ename. Done. Okay, so insert into table name value so and so. Then what I'll do here? Here I'll say what is the output parameter name I gave? OP underscore MSG. OP underscore MSG. So I'll say OP underscore MSG is equal to, I'll just give a message, record inserted successfully. Record inserted successfully. Done. Why I got the error? What is the reason here? Record inserted successfully. What is the error here? It is saying that it is incorrect or misplaced. Good, 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 good. Okay. What is the error I got here? See the error message. When I do the control F2, I got a message saying that feature not supported. What is that feature not supported here? It is saying that insert or update or delete are not supported, are not supported. Why it is not supported? Because it is saying that it is a read-only procedure. It is a read only procedure. That's why it is giving what? Error. Am I clear to everyone? That's why it is giving the error here. Okay. So what I'll do now is, but before that, okay, this is valid only. Okay, let me try to remove this. I can comment it. How to comment? Just I'll say hyphen hyphen. Done. It is commented as should be there. Okay, default schema so and so. Done. What is the error here? You can only, oh, good. Okay, see the warning there. What is saying here? You can only create a read-only procedure on this server. Okay, you can only create a read-only procedure on this server. Okay. Mhm. Okay, but I should able to create this also. But why I'm getting the error? You can only create a read-only procedure on this server. Okay, 1 second. Let me just copy this. I'll do one thing. Let me just close this. I'll go to the Systems tab. Directly try to do it in SQL console. I'll open the SQL console here. Done. Is it allowing here? Create procedure, so and so, done. Okay. Now here also, I'll try to say reads SQL data. Okay. Reads SQL data. Let me close this for the time being. When I do syntax check, let me save it first. Let me try to execute. I'll select this. I'll say F8. Okay, so what you have to focus as of now is what I am doing here. I am declaring this procedure with addition what reads SQL data, but I am trying to use what insert statement. So let me say F8. Good. So you can see the error message here. What is the error I got? Feature not supported. Insert, update, delete are not supported in the read-only procedure. So what I'll do now is, let me try to comment this. Okay, I'm commenting that. Let me re-execute now. Okay, 1 second. Let me use my schema only. What is the schema? Gensoft SQL dot. Let me give everything in uppercase for my convenience. Insert employee. Done. Okay, let me try to execute the procedure now. I'm doing in SQL console now. I'll say F8. Yeah, the procedure is successfully created. So what is the meaning here? Since I have removed that reads SQL data, it is allowing me to create the procedure. Okay, I'll check what is the problem in that sys underscore big server, big schema. Okay, we are able to create the procedure. So if you refresh our schema, the procedure name is what? Insert employee. Yes, it got created. Okay, now I want to insert the data into this table. Already we have 4 records here. What is the primary key here? Primary key field is what? EMP ID. Now I'll say insert into EMP, not insert, sorry. Let me try to call the procedure. I'll call the procedure from the SQL console only. Call so and so. What are the parameters available here? 2 input parameters and 1 output parameter. Okay, and to that output parameter I am giving this message record insert successfully. Okay, done. So what I'll do is here I'll give 5 and let me give the employee name as something Vamshi, and since we have the output parameter I have to give the placeholder. I am giving the placeholder. When I execute this, good. So what I got here, it is returning me the output parameter. What is the message we are having? Record inserted successfully. If you go back to the table, If I refresh, yes, it got successfully inserted. Let me execute once again. Let me give it a 6 and Vamshivan. Again, I'll get the same message. Okay, I'll say F8. I got record inserted successfully. Again, if you refresh, got inserted. Now, what is the key field in the table? Employee ID. So I'll try to insert a record with the employee number 3. Employee ID is what? 3. So now I'll say, here I'll say something 3. Let me give it as Vamshi 2. So see what happens here. When I say F8, try to focus. When I say F8, that I got an error here. What is the error I got? Unique constraint violated. Unique constraint violated. So and so unique constraint violated. Done. Okay, fine. It is giving me some message here, some error message. Unique constraint violated. But I don't want like this. Okay, keeping end user in mind. So what is happening here? The moment the insert is getting failed, try to understand. The moment the insert statement execution is failed, what happened? It is not executing the next statement. It is not executing the next statement. Instead, it is flashing with error message. But what I want is, I don't want this error message. I want to handle this situation. Means even if I try to insert duplicate value, it has to go to a separate block and it has to give me some meaningful message. So we have to keep end user in mind. Okay, by analyzing this, the end user cannot understand anything. So I want to give a meaningful message saying that record is already existing. Okay, so that can be achieved by using what? Exception handling. What is the default behavior? Whenever an exception is raised in any of the line, the rest of the statement will not be executed. So if you want, we can debug and check here. So how to debug here? Okay, how to debug? First of all, you have to go to what? Runtime object. Runtime object. How do you go to runtime object? In the schema gens of SQL in the catalog folder only. Okay, let me refresh this. So I want to debug and check whether this statement is getting executed or not. So I'll double click on this. Once again, it is refreshing. So agenda is what now? I don't want this standard message here. I want to flash some user defined message. So what I did now, I want to debug it first. So how do you debug? In your schema, if you double click on your procedure, it will open you the runtime object. Now you have to set what? Breakpoint. So what I'll do, I want to put breakpoint here. So I'll just double click on this. I'll put the breakpoint here. I'll put the breakpoint here also. 3 breakpoints are set. Then what you have to do after setting the breakpoints, already we discussed. We need to switch to our debug perspective. Okay, so on the application toolbar, we have the debug perspective here, or you can choose window and you can see perspective, open perspective. You can choose a debug perspective. Okay, anything is fine. So I'm clicking on this debug button, debug perspective button. Done. It has entered the debugging mode. Now what I'll do here first, I need to create the configuration kind of thing. So here you can see somewhere here, yeah, here. Okay, I'll just click on this debug configurations. Already we have discussed this. Okay, I'll click on this. I'll give the, okay, what you have to choose, stored procedure. Click on what? New configuration. Provide some configuration name. I'll give the configuration name as something ex2, something, some configuration name. Then proceed to debug where it is available, not in a project, it is available inside a schema. So I'll just choose what? Catalog schema. What is your procedure name? Insert underscore employee available in the schema gens of SQL. So let me select that. I'll go to the procedure, insert employee, say okay, done. And this selected procedure has got what? Some signature. It has got 2 input parameters and 1 output parameter. So you need to maintain the values for what? Input parameter. How do we do it? I'll go to the input parameters tab. Here it is showing two input parameters. Let us give the value. I'll give the value as something 2, and employee name I'll give it as something what, Pavan. Okay, so 2 is already there in the table. Okay, so I'll say apply, and then say what, debug. Click on debug. Yeah, one second, let me save that SQL thing. Done. So you can see now it is still loading. It is still loading. Once it is 100%, it will stop at the first breakpoint. Yeah, you can see the arrow pointer. It is stopping at the first breakpoint. Yeah, what are the values I gave here? 2 and what, Pavan. So I'm about to execute this insert statement. I'm about to execute insert statement. How do we execute one statement at a time? Press what? F8. So when I press F8 here, it will execute the current statement. But according to the table definition, EMP ID is what? Primary key. It will not accept duplicate values. So this statement execution will be failed. Will be failed. So when it is failed, I want to check whether the control is going to the next statement or not. So I'll say F8. Okay, I'll say F8 here. Done. What happened here? I got a error while executing so and so unique constraint violated. That's it. So what happened? The control is not going to the next statement. The execution has been stopped. The execution has been stopped by flashing some what message to that particular exception. But what is my agenda now? I don't want to flash that particular message. I want to handle that situation and return some meaningful message to the user. So let us see how to do exception handling in what, HANA. So what are the concept we are discussing here? It is not only related to procedure. Wherever you write the code, whether it is inside cursors, whether it is inside functions or procedures, okay, everywhere the concept will be what, same. So what is our agenda now? We need to handle the exception. So how do we handle the exception is, first we need to what, declare that particular exception. How do we declare that exception is here at the beginning of the procedure. Generally we'll declare the exception at the beginning of the procedure. So I'll say here, okay, this is runtime object, this is a runtime object, so I cannot disturb this. Okay, here we don't have design time object now because directly I created that in the schema, not in the package. So I cannot use this procedure now. Let me go for what, new this thing. Okay, so here I'll just copy this. One second please. I'll create a new procedure now. Done. So create procedure, jumps out SQL insert underscore employee. Earlier it was only insert employee, now insert underscore employee. Now see the change. Agenda is what? You have to handle the exception. How do we handle? We need to first declare that exception. So how do we do it? You'll say declare. Try to understand. At the beginning of the procedure body, we use the keyword declare. Then we will say there is another keyword exit handler for 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 what, SQL exception, for SQL exception. If you take our ABAP exception handling concept, if you don't know the exception class, to be on safer side, we say cx underscore root. Cx underscore root is the root class for handling any kind of exception. Similarly, here also, this SQL exception can handle any kind of what, exception. So I'm declaring the exit handler for that particular SQL exception. Now you have to start the body of that particular exit handler. How do we start? You'll say begin. Okay, try to understand. Begin. I'll give the, what is the output parameter? Op underscore msg. Op underscore msg equal to, I'll just give a message. Record already exists. I need to close this particular handler. How do you close it? You have to say what, end. Okay, so what you have to understand now is initially this block will not be executed. Remember, this block will not be executed. Okay, it will directly come to the first statement of your procedure body. It will try to insert. If it is successfully inserted, control will automatically go to the next line. If there is any problem in inserting, if the unique constraint is violated, internally it raises an exception called as what? SQL exception. Control goes to what? This particular exit handler block, and it will execute this particular thing. So what happens now? To my output parameter, I am associating this OP underscore MLG. So let me check whether I'll get the result or not. So I need to execute this first. F8. Yeah, the procedure is successfully executed, created. Now if you go back to the table, these are the available records 1 2 3 4 5 6. First let me insert 7. So I'll say I'll give the employee ID as 7. Let me give the name as what? Vamshi 7. Since is not 7 is not available, it has to create that particular record. When I say F8, done, it is successfully inserted. I got the return message what? Record inserted successfully. Okay, done. If you go back to the table also, the record would be inserted 7 Vamshi 7. Now what is the change I'll do? Already in the table you can see we have 4. I'll try to insert what now? 4. So I'll say something 4. Earlier, what happened if you're trying to insert duplicate entry, I got some error message here saying that unique constraint is violated. But now what happens if the statement execution is failed? The control will jump to what? Exit handler block, and it will execute the statements in that. So what is my what should happen now? It has to return me the message what record already exists. So let me try to insert this employee number 4. I'll say F8. Oh, what happened, boss?
Change the procedure name, sir.
Arre, I'm sorry, extremely sorry. Okay, correct. I'm sorry. What is the procedure name? Insert underscore employee. Na? So I'll say insert underscore employee. Okay, first of all, let me again go for this only. Insert underscore employee. I'll give 8 here. 8 is not there. Okay, I'll say F8. Yes, I got the message record insert successfully. Now I'll try to insert 4 here. Okay, the procedure name is insert underscore employee. I'll say F8. Done. So I didn't got any error here. What I got here? Some meaningful message. Record already exists. So what you have to understand now, if the insert statement execution is failed, if it is failed, control will not do the next statement. It will check whether we have any exit under block. Yes, we have the exit under block. It will go there and it will associate this message to my output parameter. If you want, I can debug this also. One second. Let me finish this, then you can ask the questions. I'll just refresh. Yeah, this is my procedure. Insert underscore employee. Done. Okay, I'll put the breakpoints here. I'll put the breakpoint here. I'll put the breakpoint here. I'm putting the breakpoint everywhere. Done. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to shift to what? Debugging mode. Okay, so see, I'm going very slowly. There are many people who have not started practice. I'm getting the mails for very simple things. So spend time on the system, then only you'll get used to this environment. So I'll just go to a debugging perspective. Done. Then let us create what? Some configuration with the new input values. So I'll just go for new configuration. I'll give something AX3 catalog schema. Choose your schema and the procedure. Insert underscore employee. Done. Since it has got input parameters, yeah, I'll give the value as something 3. 3 is already there. Okay, so I'll give the employee name as something V3. 3 is already there. I'll say apply and say debug. Okay, it's Still loading. Yeah, it is stopping. As you can see here, observe here. I gave the breakpoint from the beginning, but see the arrow pointer here, where it is coming directly to the first statement, directly to the first statement of your procedure body. I'm trying to insert what now? 3. So I'll say F8. This execution should be failed. If it is failed, earlier what happened, I got an alert box giving that particular exception message. Now the control should go to this particular block. So I'll say F8. Try to understand. I'll say F8. Done. You can observe now. You can observe now it is going to that particular block, and it will execute that exit handler block. It will enter inside that. Yeah, op underscore message is as of now what? Null. Acha, good. Okay, good. You can observe here. There are some system variables it is showing me. When it is going to my exit handler block, it is showing me some system variables. SQL error code is 301. SQL error message was unique constraint violated, so and so, so and so. Right, I'll talk about that going forward. OP underscore message null as of now, so I'll say F8. Done. I got the message record already exists. That's all. Okay, so this is the way to what? Handle your exception. Okay, now I don't want this. What I want is I want to capture the standard message. I want to capture the standard message. So once again, let me just copy this. Any doubts, please ask me. Meanwhile,
Sir,
if you have, yeah.
don't we have any?
Tell me, Ramakrishna, tell me.
I mean, in ABAP we are having something like size over C once the statement was executed or not. Something like that. Don't we have any system variables in this HANA?
No, here we don't have that. We don't have that. Right. Now, what is my next requirement here? I don't want that user-defined message. I want to capture the standard message as well as standard error code. So see the change that I'll do. Let me again recreate this with a new procedure name. I'll give a procedure name as simply insert underscore what emp, insert underscore emp, same signature. Yeah, here what I'll do is, okay, I don't want this one, so I'll say, instead of saying record already exists, let me comment this. I'll say op underscore message is equal to op underscore message is equal to, I can use colon also, not compulsory, equal to, I'll just give a message SQL exception raised. Okay, and I want the error code. Error code is what? Okay, let me use a pipe symbol. What is that error code it has shown? SQL underscore what? Error underscore what? Code. SQL underscore error underscore code. Then again let me give the pipe symbol. Then I'll say here what, anything you can say. I'll say error message is, again I'll use what? Pipe symbol. Again I'll refer to the system variable SQL underscore error underscore what? Message. SQL underscore error underscore message. Done. That's all. So what I did here earlier, this is user defined message. Now also it's user defined message only, but as part of the message I'm concatenating what? The every exception will have some exception code. Every exception will have some exception code and some exception message. So I'm capturing what? Standard exception message. Let me try it now. I'll try to execute the procedure. F8. Done. Procedure is successfully created. Let me quickly insert the data. The procedure name is insert underscore emp. Employee number is 9. I'll just give something Vamshi 9. this should be successfully executed. Yes, I got record inserted successfully. Now here only I'll say gens of SQL dot insert underscore mp. I'll say 4 here and I'll say something vamshi 4. Okay, so when I execute this, let's see what happened. Done. What I got here? Yeah. SQL exception is error code is what? 301 it seems. Error code is 301. Error message is what? Unique constraint violated. So and so, so and so. I'm getting this information. This is a standard exception message. Okay, insert so and so, column 2, whatever it is, the line number, everything. Okay, so this is a way to refer to the exception code, exception error code, and exception message. So this is a way to handle what? Standard exceptions. This is the only way to handle what? Standard exception. Just like our ABAP, we have the option to create our own exceptions, to create our own user-defined exceptions. So what is the mechanism we are following for standard exceptions? Just we are declaring the exit handler block. We are defining the exit handler block for the standard exception. So this exception can handle any kind of situation. Okay, what you can do is we can enhance this procedure to also what handle what user defined exceptions. So let's see how to do that. In the same example, I'll give the name as insert emp. Yeah, what I want is, apart from this case, what is that case? If the insert is not executed successfully, yes, obviously we are handling the exception. Another case is assume that I'll give the employee name as blank, for example. Here only try to understand this. Gens of SQL insert underscore emp, I'll give 10. Employee name I'll give blank. Employee name I'll give what? Blank. Okay, so it is not a key field. I can keep it what? Blank. Let me check what happens now when I say F8. Done. Record inserted successfully. So if you refresh the table, yes, without entering the employee name also I got it, but I don't want like this. In case if the user is inserting what? Blank employee name, it has to what? Flash some message. It has to flash some message. So in this example only, let me go for user defined exception. In case of standard exception, just you have to define the exit handler block. That's all. In case of user defined exceptions, there are 3 steps you have to follow. We need to declare the exception. We need to define the exit handler block, and we need to throw the exception. I need to say we need to raise the exception. I repeat, in case of HANA database, if you want to handle standard exceptions, there is only one step. What is that? Define the exit handler block for the exception. That's it. Okay, so that whenever an exception is raised, control will automatically comes to that particular exit handler block. If you want, we can also work with what? User defined exceptions. In case of user defined exceptions, we have 3 steps. What are they? We need to declare the exception. We need to define the exit handler block for our user defined exception, and then we need to throw our exception. I mean to say we need to raise the exception. So what I'll do is, one second. Yeah, I'll go for a new procedure now. Yeah, now let me copy this.
Sridhar, can you put this code in the stored procedure in the package?
Yeah, I'll put it. Once I complete this, I'll put it. I'll put it right.
Just to see the to see the
Yes.
syntax error. Yeah.
Create procedure. Yeah, what is the procedure name now? Insert emp. Done, everything is same. Yeah, what is the agenda now? If the employee name is, if the user is trying to insert blank employee name, it has to give me the exception message. So what is the procedure I have to follow? First we need to declare the exception. So what I'll do is, somewhere at the beginning of my procedure, I'll declare the exception. How do you declare that exception? You have to give the name for your exception. So I'll say declare. You can give any name. What shall I give? My exception. Any user defined name. My exception. Okay, then condition for, this is a syntax. We have to remember, there is no other way. Declare exception name, condition for what is that? SQL error code. Yeah, SQL underscore error underscore code, SQL underscore error underscore code. I'll give something 10,002. Yeah, this is important again. In case of standard exception codes, it will be what, less than what, 10,000. If it is user defined exception codes, the range will be between 10,000 to 19,999. Earlier, what is the error code, exception code I got? 301. Up to 9,999, it is reserved for what? Standard exception codes. If you want to go for user defined exceptions, the exception code should be between what, 10,000 to 19,999. So I'm using some exception code 10,002. Done. So I declared my exception. This is a way to declare. Okay. If you know ABAP object oriented, how do we declare there? We use the keyword exceptions. Exceptions followed by exception name. Exceptions is a keyword. Here you have to say declare your user defined exception name, then you have to say condition for SQL error code, some user defined exception code, error code. Okay, done. Now I need to define the block for this. Okay, so how do I define the block for this? Here I'll say, yeah, I'll say here, this is another exit handler block. I'll say same syntax, declare what? Exit handler, declare exit handler for what is my exception name? My exception. Okay, declare so and so for my exception. Done. And then here also I have to say begin and what, end, begin and end. So what is the condition now? Condition is what now? Okay, what shall I write here? Okay, not condition. First of all, let me construct the message. Op underscore message, okay, equal to, I'll just give something like what, error code, pipe symbol, what are the system fields, system variables, SQL underscore error underscore code, again what, some pipe symbol, right? So I'll say error message, again I'll refer to what, SQL underscore error underscore message, SQL underscore error underscore message. That's it. Okay, so I'm just giving some message here. That's it. This is my block, exit under block. What I'm doing in the block, I'm constructing the message for my exception. Just I'm displaying the error code and what, error message. Then here I'll write the condition. What is that condition? Yeah, somewhere here I'll say if, what is the parameter which is carrying the employee name? IP underscore ename. So I'll say if IP underscore, sorry, if IP underscore ename, if IP underscore ename is equal to what, space, then I'll say, acha, I have to raise the exception. Again, if you go back to our ABAP object oriented, we use a keyword called as raise. If you want to raise the exception explicitly, we use a keyword called as raise. Here we have to use a keyword called as signal, signal, signal. What is my exception name? My exception. Okay, signal my exception. Okay, and while raising the exception, while throwing the exception, I need to set a value for the attribute what? Message underscore text. Message underscore text is equal to, I'll just give some meaningful message. What is that? Ename cannot be blank. Ename cannot be blank. That's it. And end for if is what? End if. That's all. That's it. So this is my condition and this is the procedure block. That's it. Okay, so this procedure is taking care of two exceptions. One is standard exception, another is what? User defined exception. In case of standard exception, it is sufficient if we define the exit under block. In case of user defined exception, we need to declare the exception, we need to define the exit under block, and we need to raise the exception, we need to raise the exception at the appropriate condition. Okay, if the employee name is blank, then I'm throwing the exception. How do you throw? We use a signal keyword. There in ABAP we use raise keyword. Okay, let me execute now. F8, good. Okay, exception successfully got created. So if I refresh here, one second, it is refreshing. So this exceptionaling process will be same wherever the code is involved. It can be inside cursor, it can be inside a function, a procedure, or wherever it is. Yeah, what is the procedure name? Insert EMP. Let me try to insert the data now. I'll say, yeah, just here. I'll first say 12. Okay, I'll give 12. So in this case, none of the exceptions should be raised. What is the procedure name? Insert EMP. Okay, so when I say F8, yeah, none of the procedure is raised. I got the message record inserted successfully. Now I'll say 4 is already there. 4 is already there. Okay, so 4 is already there. So when I say F8, it has to raise me the standard exception. So standard exception we are not raising. The moment insert is failed, it is going to raise the standard exception. What is the standard exception name? SQL exception. Okay. For that SQL exception, anyhow we have the block. Yes. Okay. We have error code is 301. Error message what unique constraint violated. Good. Okay. Now I'll say 13. 13 is not there, and I'll keep this as blank. So now it has to raise what? User defined exception. Okay, F8. Done. What happened? Good. What error I got? SQL error code is what? 10,002. Error message what? Ename cannot be blank. So this is the procedure to handle our user defined exceptions. Any questions in this part? Please ask me. Okay, now quickly, let me go back to our procedure and check why we are getting that issue. Okay, so this is my package, right? So this is my procedure. Let me open that. I'll give the procedure name as insert employee, done. Okay, let me try to, why I'm getting the error here? Okay, reads SQL data. Let me remove this, done. Why I got this error? You can only create a read-only procedure on this server. Okay, I'll do one thing. Let me try to give it as what? My schema, gents of SQL dot so and so. Still I got the error. You can only create a read-only procedure on this server. Why it is like that? Okay, let me recreate once again. Just close this. Let me delete this procedure. Right, so in the repositories tab only, let us go to our package, right click on this, new, new, okay, I'll say other, new other, okay, I'll choose stored procedure, z unsolved package, I'll give the file name as something what insemp, I'll give it as what dot procedure only insemp. Now let me choose the schema as, let me choose my schema, gens of SQL, insemp is the procedure name, I'll say finish. Okay, no schema, default schema specified. One second. Yeah, here I'll say default schema is our schema, which is nothing but what? Gensoft SQL, done. Let me remove this addition. Again, I got the same error. You can only create a read-only procedure on this server. Why so? Okay, I'll do one more change. I click on the package, new, other, I'll choose stored procedure. I'll give it as something ins employee. Let it be dot HTTP procedure only. Target schema. Let me give it as gens of SQL in ins employee. Say finish. Okay. Let me give the default schema here. Gens of SQL. I'll remove this. Done. Okay, done. Now I'll say, let me take the parameters here. IP underscore what? IP underscore EMP ID integer. Then again input parameter IP underscore ename. I'll take it as varchar of something 30. Varchar of 30, comma. I'll take one output parameter OP underscore MSG. Varchar of something 250. Done. Language default schema is so and so as insert into what? EMP underscore trigger values. I'll give the employee number as something 17. I'll give the employee name and the outbound parameter, done. Okay, then I'll say op underscore msg equal to, I'll say something record inserted, done. Why we got this error here? Record inserted is incorrect or misplaced. is incorrect. What is the issue here? Where character 215 OP underscore MSG. IP underscore EMP comma, IP underscore ename, done. Okay, done. Now let me just save it. Done. Let me do the syntax check. Oh, I got error boss here. What is the error here? Could not create catalog object, too many values. Why? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. EMP trigger has got only two fields now. Done. Save it now. Do the syntax check. Yes, successfully done. I'll activate this. Okay. Yes, successfully activated. So, Praveen, we got it, but it is not supporting it for what? Dot XML procedure, dot procedure. It is
Yeah,
supporting
that's
only,
what
it
it
is
was.
supporting only for dot HTTP procedure. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So let me check what is the reason. I think there is some change in the feature, so we need to check it. Because same thing I have done it for dot what procedure also it is giving error. We'll see what is the issue. You also try from your end, all of you.
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah.
Sridhar, is it going to allow to insert in a sys underscore big, or we need to use our own?
No, no,
That we supposed to use sys underscore and big, right?
sorry?
We supposed to use sys underscore big, right? Because it is not going to visible that procedure in the pack when we are calling from
Yeah,
ABAP.
okay. So what is the procedure name now? So and so is the procedure name. Now let me just, yeah, you can observe the difference here. You can see, okay, let me just, I already activated, na? Yeah, already activated. Now let me go to the systems tab. Okay, I'll go to the catalog. Okay, in my catalog, if I go to our schema, because we have created in that our schema only, in the procedures, yeah, what is the procedure name? INS employee. Yeah, below you can see this is my runtime object. Okay, so let me make a copy of this. Whatever is there in the catalog is a runtime object. So Control C. Okay, let me just copy it. So you can observe the difference here only. Yesterday when I am putting in sys underscore big, it is saying that sys underscore big dot package name slash. Here I got what? Colon. So this is one difference you have to observe. Now if I try to create what? Database procedure proxy. Now I'll go to the ABAP environment, ABAP perspective I mean to say. Okay, let me connect. It's connected. Now I'll directly right click on the local objects, new, other ABAP repository object. What you have to choose? Database procedure proxy. Done. So I'll choose something Z. I'll give the proxy name as ZE underscore proxy, some name, test. Now here the problem will be here only. See here. Okay, I'll check control what space, control space. What is my procedure name? INSEMPLOY, INSEMPLOY, which is available in our package. Okay, so you can browse this here. Yeah, it's not available here. You can observe here it is not available here because we are not storing in what? Sys underscore what? Big. So that's the reason. In order to expose it outside another database, it must be there in what? Sys underscore big. Otherwise, if you store it in other schema, I can consume it only from the ANA database level itself. I cannot consume it outside HANA database. Is it clear to everyone? It's not
Yeah,
visible now.
yeah. The thing is, if you create in a system tab or is in the repository, even if you store the inside the our own schema inside the repository is not, it is not useful. It's the same as system,
Correct.
the way you are creating in
Yes.
system.
Yes.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah, same. If you directly create under systems also, okay, it will not be available in your when you are creating the database procedure proxy. Both would be same. The moment you put it in sys_big only, it is visible.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So all of you just do R&D on this because I also never encountered this issue. What I am trying to do is when I am creating .http procedure, .http procedure, I am able to use what insert. But if I am using dot procedure, it is giving me a message saying that we cannot. It is only read only. Read only in the sense only select statement supported. So I need to read the documentation once. Am I clear to everyone? Please do R&D. Okay, just Google it. Where to search means you have to Google. There is no, or else go to that help.sap.com, check the HANA documentation. You have to check each and every line, then we'll get some information. Or else just Google saying the difference between .http procedure and dot procedure. Then you'll get some points. I'll also do the R&D on that. Okay, please try and give me the inputs from your side also. Okay, so the main what thing we have discussed today is how to handle the standard exceptions, how to handle the user defined exceptions. Okay, chalo then. So I'll wind off for today. We'll continue tomorrow with the other things. Chalo. Right, so I'm winding off.